because I don't think anybody else is getting on here besides us. If they do, they can join us. So, all right. Well, I guess we won't get extra bonus points for this like I thought, because we did it a day late. I should have done it yesterday to get us our extra points, but oh well. I just wanted to have one more team Zoom and just talk about a couple of things. First, just to say that we are awesome, and I'm pretty sure we're the winning team. So, and I did verify that whether you made it to your own personal goals or points or whatever, if our team wins, then we're still eligible for the team prize. So you're not eligible for individual prizes if you didn't hit either your weight loss goal or your points goal. But as a team, we still made it there. So woo, yay us. So that was super awesome. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I wanted to try a thing, and you guys can be part of this or not, but even with my clients, and I invited some of them to jump in here as well. We'll see how it goes, but to just be part, because I've really liked having these Zooms and being able to talk about things with people as just a way to keep us motivated, to keep us learning different things, talking about habits of health. So I'm going to keep doing Zooms, and so I will just email the link out to you guys, and anybody who wants to jump on them is welcome to, or watch playbacks for, you know, good information or whatever. And I'm just going to be going through different things, and from the lessons, from the books, from, you know, just things that we've learned, talking about people's struggles, things like that. So that'll keep going. I'm going to probably play around and do some at different times, because I do have clients that are back on the East Coast. And so it's hard enough for you guys in Louisiana being this late at night, but for them, it's just really too late. So we'll probably play around with a few different times, like some earlier and later, based on, you know, just because we have people in every time zone for that.
Yeah.
So, we'll put those around, and people can jump on whenever is convenient. And but that's something that I want to do going forward, so that it keeps us going in there. And then the one thing that I really wanted to talk about before we ended all of this is having our mind and our reality. They call it, Dr. A in this book, this is the workbook that we have, Living a Longer, Healthier Life. So this one's awesome. It goes along with Dr. A's Habits of Health. This is kind of like the next step after that Discover Your Optimal Health that I usually have people do. But this one is kind of like the practical application. So it's like a little workbook where you can write in, you can see all my scribbles and everything all over that, and highlighting, and, you know, I stick little tabs to refer back to things and whatnot, so you can mark it up as much as you want. But in this book, Dr. A talks about frames of reality. And what I really liked about this is because he said, you know, sometimes we're living in this really short frame of reality, kind of like we took our camera zoom lens and we zoomed it up so close that all we can see is this right here. All we can feel is, I really want to eat that right now. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. I'm stressed out, or whatever it is. I just have to do it. And it's just kind of like that animal instinct, or your two-part brain that we talked about in one of those, has taken over. And everything is just your appetites, your instincts, and your impulses. And then that's when we make those bad choices, you know, those rash, you know, emotional eating kind of choices. And then sometimes we're in a really long shot. So then we're like, oh, instead of being zoomed up super close, then we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to pan back, and I'm going to see the big picture, but I'm not going to see the big picture. I'm going to see the really big picture. So that's where we get into, like, they talk about vague hopes and longings, things like, oh, well, someday I'll be at my healthy weight, or, you know, someday I'll sleep really well, like when I don't have little kids, or, you know, I'll get it all under control when I'm not so busy and not so stressed. And really, when is that ever going to happen?
Yeah.
It's probably not. So that's when we're clear out here and everything is just vague, and it's, you know, these great schemes of things that sound really nice, but we're really not doing anything about it because it seems too far off. So what we want to do is bring it into a medium frame shot. So we're right here, and that's where we can say, okay, we take that step back from the, I just have to, you know, craziness and impulses, and take that just a little step back and say, okay, what do I really want to do? That's where we go back to our structural tension. We say, okay, what did I say I wanted my goal to be? And we remind ourselves every day. And then we can use our stop, challenge, and choose and say, okay, I know that if I choose to eat this right now, it is going to make me feel, because last time I wrote down in my food journal when I went on a sugar binge that it made me feel terrible. It wrecked my whole day, or, whatever. So then we can kind of take ourselves out of our mind a little bit to a place where we can work on this, and we can work on it right now. Because as I was talking to my clients this week, and I think I posted it in there, but I don't know how many people saw it, but I really was thinking about those frames of desire. And when you're in your medium frame shot, we're in today, we're in right now. And that's really all that matters, because, we can sit and beat ourselves up over, oh, I had a really bad day yesterday, and we can feel bad, but there's nothing we can do about that now.
Nothing. Yes, I read your post.
Yeah. And so, there's really not. And then you can sit there and say, okay, well, I'm going to be good for, this many days. And it's just like you're willing yourself to make good choices for like 2 weeks or however long it is, or for the next forever. I am never going to mess up again. And that's probably not reality either. And it's really vague and out there. But really, if you just say, okay, today or right now, this is what I'm going to do, because I know this is a good choice. I know it supports where I want to be. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys today, just to remind everybody, today is really the only day that matters. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It doesn't matter it will matter what you do tomorrow, but it doesn't right now. So affect what we can affect right now, and then, don't worry about the rest of it. And that kind of gets you in that, focusing on, here's your habits, here's your pattern, instead of just that number on the scale. Because the number on the scale sometimes gets you into that really big, wide shot where you're like, yeah, that'll be so great when I'm down 30 pounds or whatever your goal is or whatever. But, but really today you're not down 30 pounds. Today you can say, hey, yeah, but today I'm going to make sure that I drink all my water. I'm going to eat my meals. I'm going to make smart choices. I'm going to exercise. So those are the things anyway. So that was what I wanted to share. And that just kind of came from the Living a Longer, Healthier Life book and that. So I love that. You guys have any thoughts, things you want to share along that?
Well, I think going through the challenge, reading all the readings, the way you're talking about the picture, I think that your mind does that, because yesterday I knew I had met my goal. I weighed in, I took my picture. I wanted to binge so bad because I had reached my goal, and I just wanted to go on this binge and said, oh, I can eat now, I can eat. But looking at the picture, just remembering everything, the stop, challenge, and choose, and I can control what I put in my mouth, and I stepped back. I looked, I made that choice, and I was able to control it. And instead of binging, I reached for the salsa and a few multigrain chips, and said, okay, I'm good. And then today, like I said, I went to the restaurant, made some good choices, and I'm happy with myself. I'm happy that I did that.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, how you feel afterwards.
Yes. Yes.
Don't you feel accomplished?
Yes, I did. Today was wonderful. Yes.
And if you hadn't done that, if you had said right there in that short frame, oh, I can eat now, I can binge, I can have whatever I want,
I'd have been miserable today.
Yeah. And you would have deprived yourself of that feeling of accomplishment.
That's right.
Yep. And that's when you can get to that point. I mean, yeah, we're all going to mess up sometimes, and that's okay. That's part of life. But the more you can remember, hey, yeah, I'm depriving myself of this really great feeling of accomplishment, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we get to this point, I think it's tricky for the same things like she was just saying, that we feel like, okay, now I can binge, or just our society in general, when we accomplish something great, a lot of times our reward to ourselves is to eat something. Like, I can go have that ice cream, that piece of cake, that whatever it is that I want, and we tend to overdo it because, well, we're celebrating, so we can have as much as we want because it's a celebration. And anyway, so I think that this day probably is as tricky as the beginning for a lot of people for that reason.
Mm-hmm. It really is, and probably more so actually, because when you're starting out, most people are at a point where they are feeling miserable, they're feeling tired, they're feeling like they're not liking how they feel. And so then they have that, just like we talked about the rubber band, like that rubber band is stretched pretty tight right then, or maybe their pants are stretched pretty tight right then, whatever you want to think about it and stuff. But, you know, as you've gone through 6 weeks and your clothes are fitting better and you're having more energy and you're feeling really great, then your rubber band isn't stretched quite so tight, or neither are your pants. And so when you're not feeling that, then you're like, oh, it's okay to have a celebration. Let's go. Just like,
right.
I think it's almost harder.
Yeah. Well, the thoughts, you know, came when those thoughts came in about, you know, binging. It was just coming home from work and, you know, getting ready to cook supper. And then I'm so glad I didn't binge, because that same night I read the first chapter of the book, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm reading this chapter on how, you know, we live in this fishbowl of pollution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm thinking, okay, I could be worse if I would have went and binged.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And that's why I said, like, reading, that's why I said, like, reading Discover Your Optimal Health, or reading, like, you have one, The Brain Over Binge, or reading the Living a Longer, Healthier Life. Like, if you can read something every day, like, especially, like, some people will have a hard time at night, and I'm like, make that be your reading time instead. Like, change that, because if you read a chapter in Discover Your Optimal Health, then all of a sudden you're not going to want to go binge eat.
Exactly.
You know, because you're in that right frame of mind by reading that. So,
right.
And then you start getting that to be your habit. So it's all about doing it over and over again. Like Dr. A would say, we all make that choice every day, no matter if we're in a challenge or out of a challenge, whether we're on, you know, in maintenance or trying to lose weight or wherever we're at. Like, we all make that choice every day if we're going to be healthy or if we're not. And, you know, that's what we have to do. We have to choose it every single day. And the more times that you choose it and you choose the healthy path, the easier that gets, till pretty soon it's like getting up and brushing your teeth. Like, we don't have to think about, should I brush my teeth today or should I not brush my teeth today? Now, when you're a little kid, yeah, you've thought about, maybe I don't want to brush my teeth today. But as an adult, hopefully most of us, we don't think about, should I brush my teeth? We're like, heck yes, I will brush my teeth. You know, you just do it. Whereas choosing to not binge or have, you know, whatever, that can become that for you, just like teeth brushing.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to share with anybody?
Miss y'all guys that are not here.
Words of wisdom. Yes. Shout out to our other team members. All right. And I'm going to keep emailing out links to everybody. Like I said, I'm going to do that for my clients and for anybody who wants to join us, just because I think it can be helpful to have discussions like this. So
yes.
Yeah. So
yes, it definitely keeps you going. It keeps you motivated.
It does. When you know that there's somebody that you can talk to, and makes you good. All right. Well, thanks you guys for being the most awesome team ever, and keep watching for all of our updates for when they say that we win, and then we'll be like, woohoo, and we'll celebrate with a dance party, not with food. So yeah, we'll celebrate dance party style, because that is how we do it here.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's how Suzanne and I celebrate with the dance party. So, yep, because that will burn calories, and it won't be bad for us.
There you go.
So, all right, you guys, I'm going to stop the recording now.